Something you said pinged my ear, and so I want to spend some time on elopement. Because oftentimes you did talk about how some people say, well, watch your kids. Um, like for Ricky too, he doesn't even realize that I still have tracking devices on him. Because it looks like Life 360, it looks like cell phones, it looks like Apple Watches, but all of those things are there, not AirPods, Airbuds, or whatever they're called. Those are there because I can, on my phone, track wherever he is at any given time. And while I know that parents are concerned by and large for their children's, day-to-day movement, considering we know all the dangers are in the world. But for parents of children on the autism spectrum, there is another layer to it, and that's the elopement. The tendency to wander. So to situate how that is, when Ricky too was a little guy, when I would go to the park and I would be there with other mothers, mothers are typically developing children could sit on the bench and, they could drink their coffee or, have conversations with each other, and they could watch their children from their peripheral. For me, I never was able to sit down with other mothers. I watched his every movement. I was two steps behind him at any turn because I knew that something as simple as someone blowing a bubble. Someone could blow a bubble and my child would just see the bubble and follow it. And it could be something where it just took me a moment to go into my bag to get some chips or something and look up and he would be gone because one, they're stealth. they're quick and they're stealth. With that, and it's one of those things where sometimes, like typically developing children, they understand the sense of danger. They don't go to this space because of danger. See, their parent, I'm going to say near my mom because being away from her would be dangerous. Some children on the spectrum, actually many children on the spectrum, don't have that sense of danger. There's this insular interest and they just follow it. And so when we think about parents who are just navigating world, you're in grocery stores and you're going to get something off the shelf, you could turn around and your child could be gone. And those are things that your mother wit kind of tells you about because before Ricky 2 even had his autism diagnosis, and before I even knew what elopement was, because we would say things in education, and these are terms that are no longer used, but when I was teaching way back when in the 90s, they would say, oh, this kid's a runner. And so I would just think running was an inclination that particular kid had. I didn't understand that it was a characteristic of something. So I didn't, even though I was a teacher, I did not know by trade, a stay-at-home mom at the time, I did not know what elopement was. But something in my gut, because during that time I was married, and my ex-husband was away in Iraq. And right outside of our house was a road. And something told me that if I turn my head, this child, I think he would go out that door. I think he would unlock the door and go out. It's just something told me. So I went to the military house because we were military housing. I went to the military housing office and I asked them, would they kindly put latch locks on all the doors of the house up high? And they came in and they did that. And it was the only thing that gave me peace of mind. Like, I didn't know my son had autism, but I always knew it was something. So to think that I have a 2-year-old and I'm asking people to install latch, those chain latch locks, because something in my gut tells me that I think my son would find a way out this door and be gone. So elopement it's a serious concern for families, and it's one that I'm hoping that allies will hear this and understand why mothers of children on the autism spectrum are so hyper vigilant. It's life or death for us. And I also hope with that allies will hear that and say, when we're at engagements or parties, say, well, hey, let me watch such and such. I promise I'll stay on like white on rice, so that mother will have an opportunity to breathe. Because if you don't, I promise you, she's there, but she's not having a good time. is not enjoying herself. She would much rather be home, somewhere where they're contained and he's safe because even now, he's 17 and I probably make people nervous. I'm so jumpy because it's the trauma of it. It still lives in me, even though he's okay and on a rational level, I know he's okay. I spent so many years tethered to him, not because there's a term people use helicopter mom. No, I wasn't a helicopter mom. I was a aware and hyper vigilant mother because I needed my son alive and well.